Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Claudia. I make bullet journaling, lifestyle, and faith content here on this channel, and it's really nice to meet you. So in this video, I am here to share with you my updated daily and weekly bullet journaling routine for organization and productivity. So this is the system I'm currently using in order to stay clear and organized with my personal to-dos, with my work tasks, and all that good stuff. What I will cover in this video will be the supplies I use, how I plan for the week ahead, and how I use my daily log. Timestamps can be found in the description box below, as well as all the links to my supplies, so please be sure to check those links out. And one more thing I want to say before we start is that what I'm showing you is the system I'm currently using in the season of life I'm currently living. So we all have different life situations. I encourage you to take what resonates and leave out what doesn't fit your organizational or journaling needs. And also, I don't want to come across as if I journal perfectly or I have perfected my journaling system, because my system is ever evolving and it's not perfect. I mean, nor should it be perfect. There are days when I don't complete or fill out spreads, and there are some days when I don't even touch my bullet journal. And so my personal philosophy with bullet journaling is that it's a tool. It's a practice. I use this tool when I know it's going to be beneficial for me in organizing and orienting my life. And I take a step back and take a break from it when I know it's not really working for me. I just try my best to adjust and adapt and give myself some grace, because ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm only human and life is full of peaks and valleys. Now, with that out of the way, let's begin. First off, we are going to talk about the supplies I use. The first thing we have here is my notebook. So I splurged quite a bit and bought the Bullet Journal and Leuchtturm 1917's collaboration on the Bullet Journal notebook. This is in the color blush pink. You certainly don't need to spend over $20 or $30 on a notebook, because it is an investment. And if you are starting out, I encourage you to do what I did, which is start with what you already have. I think I'll make a video on a cheap bullet journal setup just to show that bullet journaling really does not require anything expensive or fancy. Let me know in the comments below if you would be into watching that. Next up are my pens. I use these two Muji pens. I have a 0.7mm one in black ink. This is for my headers. And I have a 0.38mm pen in black ink as well for general text and writing. I use a zebra mildliner marker for headers too. Each month I have a thematic color, and so for the month of June, which is when I'm recording this, I'm using this brown one. Next is stamps. This stamp set, which includes lowercase and uppercase letters, some symbols, and numbers, is from Amazon. It's linked down below. And this stamp pad here is from Michaels. I have whiteout, or correction tape as some would say, and I just got this from Walmart. And lastly, I use a ruler too, because I need some assistance with literally connecting the dots. Now I'm going to show you my weekly bullet journaling routine. On the first day of the week, in order to get myself set up and prepared for the week ahead, I make two weekly spreads. The first one is a meal planning spread, and the second one is a rolling weekly. Let's start off with the meal planning spread first. For my meal planning spread, this spread takes up 2 pages. Using my mildliner marker, I section the 2 pages into 8 parts. So 7 of those parts are meant for the 7 days of the week, and the last section is for me to write out my grocery list. I stamp out headers for each section, so it's going to be the days of the week, and then I call my grocery list section List, because it encompasses not only the groceries I will be buying for the week, but also any household supplies, like toiletries, home goods, and stationery. I include my groceries in my meal planning spread because this gives me a bird's eye view of what groceries I will be working with for the week. I buy groceries about 1 to 2 times a week, and so I do end up eating everything I bought by the end of the week because I know clearly what I'm purchasing. So having a clear understanding of what you have in your fridge and your pantry helps prevent food wastage, and it just overall helps with meal planning. I further divide each section into 3 parts: breakfast, dinner, and a prep area. I only have breakfast and dinner here because I usually intermittent fast, so I end up eating 2 big meals a day. I just call those 2 big meals breakfast and dinner for the sake of simplicity. And don't worry, I snack in between meals and during my eating window. I eat a lot and I definitely enjoy eating. The prep area is where I write down the foods that I may need to thaw out or foods I may need to wash and chop up. I divide the list section into 2 parts. The first part is the grocery list, and then the second part is my household supplies list. When I go grocery shopping, I actually bring my bullet journal along with me and I cross off items as I shop. And this is what the meal planning spread looks like. And here I am filling it in. And this is what it looks like when you fill it in. As you can see, I don't write in detail each meal we have. I only write down the main protein we'll have and maybe a couple of more integral ingredients. And let me show you what a fully filled in meal planning spread looks like. The next spread is going to be the rolling weekly. So I've made a handful of videos on this. You can check them out in the description box or in the cards. But basically the rolling weekly is a bird's eye view of all the tasks you would like to get done for that week ahead. I personally like the rolling weekly because it satisfies that part of me that needs to just brain dump everything that's in my head onto page, regardless of how big or small a task is, regardless of when it needs to be accomplished. I just need everything in here, out there, externalized onto a page, and it doesn't personally overwhelm me because I know that everything will be done in its perfect time. And it also satisfies that part of me that enjoys prioritizing things in order of importance or urgency. And I know that it can look and it can be overwhelming to some, so if the rolling weekly is not your thing, that is all good. What I'm showing you is what's working for me, and I sincerely hope that you find what works for you. So yeah, let's make the rolling weekly. For the rolling weekly, this spread takes up 1 page. Using my brown mild liner marker, I am drawing 3 lines down the page, as this will form the section where I jot down specific tasks that would need to be done on specific days. For the header, I will stamp out the words rolling weekly. You definitely don't have to do this. If you track weeks, then you can make the header the week number, or you could just leave it blank. I've definitely done that in past spreads. Next, I write out the initials for the days of the week as well as the dates. And that's it. That's the rolling weekly. And now I'm going to fill it in so you know how I use it. First, I brain dump all the tasks that I'd like to accomplish for the week ahead. Then I assign the tasks to the day or days in which they will be done. Some tasks take only 1 day, whilst others may take consecutive days. I draw a line to connect the day and the task together so it's easier for me to see. If I don't know when I'll get to a certain task, I just won't assign it a day. I don't think I'm a very intricate planner in the sense of I don't time block, nor do I fill in my days and weeks with very specific things to do because I just don't work that way. I like having an overview of what I would like to accomplish, but I still allow room for spontaneity and just to have life be life. There can be bumps and hiccups and happy accidents. And it's good to leave room for those things to occur. And I find that as I've grown up, it's more about prioritizing what's most important and urgent rather than filling in your time with lots of things to do. Here is what the rolling weekly looks like when it's all filled in. And here's a past rolling weekly spread just to give you a sense of how I have used it in my life. Now let's talk about my daily bullet journaling routine. I use my bullet journal all throughout the day as I check on things I have to do, I cross off tasks I've completed, and I make notes here and there. But for the most part, I have 2 journaling routines I usually stick to each day, and that's my morning routine and my nighttime routine. Let's start off with the morning routine. In the morning, I start my daily log off with the header. I take my stamps and I stamp out the day of the week and the date. Take my Mildliner marker to give the daily log a little bit of color, just a little bit. That's as artsy as I'll ever get while staying minimalist. Well, actually maybe not, because I would like to attempt to do an artsy, aesthetically pleasing bullet journal setup. I think that would be a fun challenge, and I think it would be quite amusing to watch me struggle. Would you be interested in watching that? I then take my 0.7mm pen and create the header for my to-do list. I just write to do. Next, I check my rolling weekly and add in the to-dos for the day. And as the day goes on, I will cross off things I complete, add on more to-dos, jot down notes, etc. And now I will show you my nighttime routine and how I wrap up my daily log and how I update my rolling weekly. At the end of the day, I conclude my daily log by going over what I had done that day. I cross off anything that's been completed, I cancel out anything that's irrelevant, and I migrate over whatever that needs to be migrated over to the next day. Next, I write out the Bible verse of the day. So I read scripture every day, and I make it a habit to write out 1 to 2 verses that stood out to me. I don't have to memorize it or anything, but it's nice to jot down a verse that resonated with you and really affected you. And so at the time I was filming this, I was reading Ezekiel, and specifically Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 20 stood out to me. After this, I write out my praise report. So my praise report is essentially what I used to call my wins of the day. I still list out 3 things that went well that day, anything that's really praiseworthy that I'd like to reflect on. It could be about the meal I ate, a conversation I had with someone, a prayer request that's been answered. It could be something trivial or something monumental. It's all worthy of praise. And that's it for the daily log. This is what it looks like when it's all filled in. And here's some daily log spreads of mine from the past 2 months. As you can see, there are some minor differences here and there in the spreads, and that's just part of the bullet journal process. And lastly, I check on my rolling weekly and keep it up to date. So whatever I have completed on a certain day, I make sure it's all crossed out on my rolling weekly. And whatever that needs migration, I make sure it's also noted in the rolling weekly too. And that's how I use the rolling weekly with the daily log. And here is a past spread, just so you can see how it's really like when you use both of them together. That's my weekly plan with me. This is what I do on the first day of each week, and it's how I keep my life clear and organized so I can healthily and productively accomplish the tasks for the week ahead. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this updated video on my daily and weekly bullet journaling routine, and I hope this video has given you some insight into how I really candidly use my bullet journal. I know it's not fancy or pretty really or aesthetically pleasing, but it's practical and it helps me get the job done. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please consider liking and subscribing, and please also check out my bullet journal playlists. I have content ranging from bullet journal spread idea videos to bullet journal advice. It's all linked down there and over there, so please be sure to check those out. And as always, thank you so much for your viewership. Stay healthy, take good care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!